Manchester United are set to announce Ralf Rangnick as their interim manager. The German tactician is one of the most well-respected football managers in the world, but can he actually fix the club? Patrick Vieira has transformed Crystal Palace, and we really need to talk about how the Frenchman has gone about his business at the club. Leonardo is reportedly the reason why Zinedine Zidane does not want to manage at PSG. But it appears that the club's sporting director is still fully behind Mauricio Pochettino, who has been hotly tipped for a move to Man United. Barcelona, on the other hand, are keeping their options open as Xavi targets at least one elite forward during the upcoming January transfer window, who have the Blaugrana identified. Now that you know the lowdown, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and make sure to turn your notifications on. After a sluggish start at Crystal Palace, Patrick Vieira has made his team one of the most attractive in England. Well placed in the Premier League, the Eagles, unbeaten since September, are intending to assert themselves a little more to hope to get closer to European places in the coming months. If Crystal Palace are far from being the most famous and reputable club in London, this team is nonetheless the one playing some of the most attractive football since the start of the year. And the appointment of Patrick Vieira on the bench of the Eagles to succeed the iconic Roy Hodgson is the main reason why we get to see some good football at Selhurst Park. And yet, nothing foreshadowed such a great adventure for the 45-year-old French coach. After having suffered a stinging setback in his first league match at Chelsea and then crashing out in the second round of the League Cup against Wolves, the former OGC Nice coach had to wait until his fifth official match to have his first win. That was a 3-0 win over Tottenham, a great performance, which, although followed by a logical defeat to Liverpool by the same score, served as a launching pad for the Eagles, having successfully taken off. Since the debacle at Anfield on September 18th, and before receiving Steven Gerrard's Aston Villa on Saturday, Crystal Palace are undefeated in 7 games. The form has brought the club from the southern suburbs of London to 10th place in the league, and close to European football. Patrick Vieira's men have been able to achieve all this by understanding the playing principles of their demanding tactician. Even if the results were slow to materialise, Vieira never reneged on his principles, and his players continued to play consistent, attractive and attacking football, all while seeking to have control of the ball, 52.4% average possession in the league. The player most symbolising this improvement is probably the excellent Conor Gallagher. The attacking midfielder on loan from Chelsea is currently having a fantastic 2021-22 season, which notably saw him become an English international during the last international break. Involved in 7 goals in 11 games played, the 21-year-old has turned into a real conductor, often targeted as the main player to be watched and contained by his opponents. Clearly, Palace are flying high, and the orchestra has only just begun. As always, the news of PSG is loaded at the moment. After the defeat to Man City in the middle of the week in the Champions League, we can see that they still have a gap to fill. The Parisians were swept away in the game, even though it wasn't a one-sided encounter. After almost a year at the head of the club, Mauricio Pochettino is having a hard time giving a playing identity to his team. And then there's another issue that's playing tricks with the club's atmosphere: the future of the Argentinian technician. The latter is in the sights of Manchester United to take over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, dismissed from his post last weekend after a defeat against Watford. Problem is that even if there has been contact between the manager's entourage and the Red Devils, the former Tottenham manager is under contract until 2023, and his employers don't seem ready to leave the ship on the way. Ralf Rangnick is expected to take the lead of Man United as an interim coach. If a departure during the season does not seem likely, PSG might lose their patience at some point. The management is also trying to lure Zinedine Zidane. Despite the Marseille origins of the legendary Real Madrid man, the idea of associating with such a big figure in football is too alluring to ignore. However, Zidane prefers to procrastinate and does not seem completely ready to work with Leonardo in particular. Moreover, the sporting director of PSG has come out of silence in the face of persistent rumours of recent days. "We don't want Pochettino to leave. He never asked to leave, and no club contacted us in relation to him. We have a lot of respect for Zinedine Zidane, what he did as a player and coach. but I can tell you very clearly that there is no contact and that no meeting with him has taken place, the Brazilian told AFP. An official denial that puts an end to the rumours for the moment. In search of the right profile to strengthen their attack, Barcelona could turn to the Premier League. And according to several Spanish media outlets, the Blaugrana have started discussions with Manchester City winger Ferran Torres. Inducted at the head of FC Barcelona, Xavi has had a relatively decent start with a victory in La Liga against Espanyol and a draw against Benfica in the Champions League. But despite that, the offensive acumen of FC Barcelona remains a central problem. 7th in La Liga, Barca therefore are logically following several players in order to strengthen offensively, and the Catalan Giants could also take action from the next winter transfer window. With this in mind, the Spaniards are looking towards England and have made Ferran Torres their priority for the next transfer window, according to information from Mundo Deportivo. In this sense, the Cadena SER also announced the presence of Mathieu Alemany, the Catalan sporting director, in Manchester this Friday. This could concern the future of City forward Raheem Sterling, already targeted by Barca since last summer. The Barca management should therefore also take the opportunity to negotiate the arrival of the prolific Spanish international. Currently injured, Ferran Torres has 3 goals and 2 assists in 7 appearances this season, but the Citizens winger would not be against the departure. As proof, he might have himself asked his coach Pep Guardiola to allow him to join the Blaugrana team. A wish that the former Bavarian coach also seems to understand, since he would not be against letting his fellow countryman go if the two clubs managed to reach an agreement. And at this level, things also seem to be accelerating, because according to Marca, the player and his agent, a close friend of Alemany, have accepted a contract offer from Barca. Under contract until June 2025, the former Valencia player, who had been recruited for €23 million by the Citizens, could therefore be the first big signing of the Xavi era. The only downside would be the economic situation of the Blaugrana, so they might opt for a loan with a compulsory purchase option next summer. In this sense, Barca are still looking for a way out for Coutinho or Umtiti in order to free up the payroll. It appears that Manchester United are set to announce Ralf Rangnick as their interim manager for the remainder of the campaign. The 63-year-old German tactician is widely considered a pioneering manager who has inspired many compatriots with his gegenpressing methodology. His name circulated in recent months every time we mentioned AC Milan, Barcelona, Everton, Newcastle, and even Chelsea. The Blues were on course to sign him up before they brought in Thomas Tuchel. Rangnick never made it big as a player, but as a manager he achieved quite a lot. It was at Schalke and Hoffenheim where he made his name, and then he was the man who helped Red Bull become such a huge football-centric brand. Right now, he's the head of football development at Spartak Moscow, but it's clear that he will be coming to Old Trafford very soon. Presented across the Rhine as the godfather of gegenpressing, this style of play, which consists in pressing the opponent very quickly and very high up the pitch to recover possession as quickly as possible, Ralf Rangnick inspired, even influenced many compatriots. We think of Jurgen Klopp, who sublimated gegenpressing in Liverpool, but also of Ralf Hasenhüttl at Southampton, whose passage to Leipzig between 2016 and 18 was a turning point, and of course Julian Nagelsmann, one of his last students at the club. Many fans expected Man United to turn a page with the German at the helm, and to be honest, it does look like things might be different. Rangnick is not the sort of manager who'll be happy with players who apologise too much on social media and then perform abysmally in the next game. This has become quite a trend at United, so we can only hope that the new manager is able to sort these things out. More than that, Rangnick is not simply going to go away once his interim contract expires. It's likely that he'll stay on as some sort of consultant, which clearly means that United are going to overhaul their process and finally get out of this thing that they will eventually find the next Sir Alex Ferguson or the next Sir Matt Busby. Those days are long gone now, and football has changed a lot since then. Maybe United have finally realised this, which is why they're now looking to bring in a man who's going to transform the club on so many levels.